Oh, so we gotta wait till 7:20?
Yep.
Okay, we're opening our meeting this evening for the zoning board. There's one piece of board business that I'd like to conduct first, and that is the approval of the minutes from the July 12th, 2018 meeting. Two of the gentlemen are here tonight that were in attendance on that, and I'd like to look for a motion on that, please.
Make the motion.
Okay, second? Bobby?
Second.
Okay, approved.
I'd just like to say that our new chairman's much more handsome than our old chairman.
Well, that's appreciated.
And he doesn't have a turtleneck.
Yeah.
This will be an interesting meeting, even if you're watching TV. Okay, so now, our first, we'll wait till 7:05.
David, good to have you back, by the way, David.
Thank you, it's nice to be back.
Oh, I'm sorry, 7:05, yeah. This is on the continued application of Al's Auto Repair and Collision Center, 14B South Free Street, Milford, Mass., for a special permit pursuant to Section 3.1 of the zoning bylaw in relation to a parcel of land located at 14B South Free Street in Milford, consisting of 110,762 square feet, more or less, which parcel is owned by the petitioner. The relief is sought in order to permit the extension of the use of the property from prior and current commercial uses as an auto body and an auto repair shop, together with the purchase and sale of used automobiles. We have been notified that this application has been withdrawn, so we'll need no further voting or anything with regards to this board. All those in favor in closing out this portion of this meeting?
Aye.
Second. Okay, done. All right, got that one. On the application of William Varelli of 194 Congress Street, Milford, Mass., for a variance from the provisions of Section 2.5 or other applicable provisions of the bylaw in relation to two parcels of land adjacent to the 194 Congress Street, consisting of 15,000 and 9,000 square feet of land, more or less, which parcels are owned by William Varelli. Variance relief is sought in order to permit the relocation of an existing lot line to reconfigure the otherwise buildable lots to provide more suitable structure siting options. We've had a request from this applicant for a continuance at our next meeting, and I would like to have somebody make a motion on that.
Make a motion.
Seconded?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. So done. All right,
And we're back.
here we go. Okay. Now being 17, we're on the application of Melanie Solomon of 213 Main Street, Milford, Mass. for a variance from the setback provisions of Section 2.5 or other applicable provisions of the bylaw in relation to a parcel of land at 9 Westbrook Street, consisting of 9,600 square feet of land, more or less, which parcel is owned by Melanie Solomon. Variance relief is sought in order to permit the location of an accessory structure, to wit, a shed on the existing lot line with no setback. This applicant has requested for a continuance to our September 20th meeting. Can I have a motion on that?
Who hasn't done it yet?
Motion.
Here we go, Tim.
All right, motion seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so done. Okay,
So is the shed already on there?
Yeah, I know, you'll be.
So, yeah, but is it already on there, or is it to build it?
What's to build it, yes. No, it doesn't actually say, does it?
No. It says to permit it.
yeah.
Question is this to build it? Is it already there?
Variance relief sought in order to permit the location of an accessory, it seems like a new structure.
That's what we're guessing, but it doesn't say.
It doesn't say to build, to construct.
Permit the location, okay,
This
that's
is-
a
this
good
is
point.
the question,
We'll find out next week, next month. Thank you, Ernie.
Thanks, Ernie.
Want to drop your shed on the back properties?
Well, it doesn't say, that. Could be existing,
Oh,
no
you know,
question.
already
it.
existing.
It doesn't say to build.
Because I didn't get a plan from G&H. Can I just put this
Go
on?
ahead.
Is that mine? Is that?
No, that is not yours. This is
I
yours.
didn't get a big plan. The whole world's gone to hell since I left Main Street.
Why did you try to see the plan? There's no one here. You don't need to put it up. You all set? Set? I'm all set.
You want this? There's a small version of the plan at the back of the memos, but it's a 64 and a half years old. Is that it? House? Yeah. Yeah.
You want this plan?
Couldn't see that. Sure. That was the
Yeah,
house,
it
right?
was, yeah.
I was just pretending because I can't see that far either.
Well, he's selling it.
There's nothing here from the planning board on this one,
Oh, please, we got a favorable recommendation.
right? Okay. But,
I want that in the record.
okay, you got it.
It's in there.
Oh, okay.
It is?
Good job.
All right, I didn't see it.
Don't-
Somebody stole it.
I'll give you mine.
Yeah, please. Yeah, no, I don't have it in there.
Don't go ruining my night, will you? It's favorable.
You sat here all this time.
Yeah. Oops, sorry, Joe.
All right.
You're good.
Is that one of those eye watches?
Yeah.
You can answer,
It's an Apple Watch.
you can answer the phone on that?
If your phone's within proximity of it. My phone's somewhere in my bedroom right now, but,
Oh, so, really?
yeah, but yeah, you can.
But you can't do it right now? If I called you right now, you can't do it? No? Do you feel like James Bond with that?
I do,
You feel like
actually.
James-
I like Dick Tracy before your time. Yeah,
You're going way back
Dick
now.
Tracy used to have the wristwatch.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Who spoke, wrist radio.
That was the 1940s or 50s?
I heard.
It was the 50s.
You can get one of those.
Charlie, who's gonna be on this, panel?
Okay, on this panel, there'll be the regular members, of which we are 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we can put Bob, you can be on this one, and John.
All right.
They made you wait, Tim.
Tim,
Tim, you want to sit at the end?
Tim's getting ready for school, he's getting everything, all this, you know. Okay, 7:20, here we go. This is on the application of Adrian?
Yeah.
Oh, good. DeGeorge of 43 Haven Street, Milford, Mass., for a variance from the setback provisions of Section 2.5 or other applicable provisions of the bylaw in relation to a parcel of land at 43 Haven Street consisting of 41,152 square feet of land, more or less, which parcel is owned by Adrian DeGeorge. Variance relief is sought in order to permit the location of a building addition, single-car garage within 12 feet of the sideline, whereby the bylaw requires a 20-foot setback. Okay. So, looking at the application here, on the key questions, what section of the zoning bylaw do you ask to be varied? Section 2.5, intensity of use schedule, minimum side yard requirement. Petitioner seeks variance to permit construction of a proposed garage addition to residential structure on the property. Proposed addition would be located within the 20-foot minimum side back requirement of the bylaw, located approximately 12 feet from the southerly lot line. Residence on the southerly abutting property is located more than 100 feet from the sideline. Variance is necessary to allow the applicant owner and her family to construct a garage on the property. Premises are otherwise conforming and would remain so. What circumstances exist relating to the soil conditions, shape, or topography of the subject premises which do not generally affect other land in the zoning district? The subject premises has more than 300 feet of depth. It is approximately 140 feet wide at Haven Street and approximately 94 feet wide at its rear lot line. The premises, together with a parcel of property situated to its east occupied by the parents of the applicant and owner, which property is subject of a prior variance issued to the grandparents of the applicant owner approximately 10 years ago, has been the locus of the residence of the George family for more than 50 years. The subject lot will conform in all respects to the provisions of the zoning bylaw, except for the minimum sideline requirement. The location of the garage is dictated by the shape of the premises and configuration of the structure already on the property, the George family homestead. The full utilization of the premises, which will follow the favorable action on the applicant's petition, it is submitted to be a reasonable variance to accommodate the unique qualities of the premise. If the variance were not granted, what hardship would be caused by the circumstances described in 13 above? The applicant and owner and her family presently reside next to her parents in the home which has been her family residence since before the advent of zoning in the town of Milford. The addition of the proposed garage will enhance and further her use and is respectfully submitted, would be a significant benefit to her. The proposed structure would come no closer than approximately 120 feet from any other abutting structure in the neighborhood. So it is submitted that the requested variance would be de minimis. Denial of the crest relief would occasion a hardship to the George family, which it is submitted would be substantial. Okay, and again, I was looking for the letter from the zoning board, and at their meeting on July 19, 2018, on the variance of Adrienne DuGeorge, dear board members, the planning board reviewed the petition listed above at their regularly scheduled meeting held on August 14th and recommends the following: favorable. So with that, I will let our attorney know. You did submit a fairly long brief, but I think I covered a lot of the
You did.
salient points, so.
You did, and I've already been asked by Mr. Rudden to keep my remarks to a minimum. Let me say that the other evening at the planning board, we went a little bit down the rabbit hole about hardship. The notion of a actual hardship with respect to the property was analyzed, I think, extensively, and I think it was best said by Mrs. McCarthy, who's a member of the planning board of long standing, when she looked at me and said, she doesn't have a garage, everybody should have a garage. We're here to tell you that the reality is that the creation of this proposed garage on this lot in the location where that house has sat for almost 60 years, where the driveway has been uninterruptedly for that entire time, and to accommodate the continued residence in that house by Adrienne next door to her parents, in an identical fashion to the way her parents lived next door to her grandparents, is something that we really do believe that the town's zoning bylaw and the town's overall scheme of property ownership and development plan has been meaning to foster. The fact of the matter is that garage is going to be constructed within 12 feet of the lot line, but about 122 feet from the closest residential structure in the neighborhood, which is the abutter to the east. There really isn't a question of safety, traffic, whether it's pedestrian or vehicular safety. There really isn't a question of congestion. There's not a question of an enhanced intensity of use. Adrienne's living in the property now with her husband. She proposes to have a family and live in that house for as long as she possibly can. And with God's grace and a little bit of luck, her father and mother will be there as long as his father and mother were next door. We really do believe that, on balance, this variance is a de minimis variance. We believe that to deny it makes no sense, and frankly, that's what we said to the planning board the other night, and I think in a lot of ways, that's why we came out with a favorable recommendation. If you have any questions about what she's trying to do there, she's here, but I understand your point, Mr. Chairman.
You convinced me, I'm gonna vote yes.
Oh, thank you.
We haven't asked for a vote yet, sir. Okay. All right, going with the form that we usually do, let's start down there. Bob, do you have any questions?
I'm all set.
Mark?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'll set.
All set.
All set. Okay, with that, does somebody like to propose a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Pine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And you know about the waiting period?
Thank you.
and,
Yes, I
know-
do, and I've explained that to Adrian and to Jen.
And by the way, I don't think the father wanted to say anything.
We didn't want to.
Chick is a man of few words.
Thank you.
You did a great job tonight, Mr. Bretton.
Thank you, Mr. Bernie live on TV. Nice to see you all. Bernie live on camera.
Okay, guys,
That's it, we're done?
they're done. You can go home now.
Wow.